it's me, Nikki. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with my April wrap-up. I managed to read 5 books, and I finished the Aurelium thing. So I accomplished what I set out to do. Yeah, that's how that works. Let me just move some books around. Okay, let's get them over here. So, we'll just start at the top. I read, I actually didn't put in my caw pile yet, but that's okay. I'll do it after I film this. I want to make sure I didn't read an audiobook. I don't think I did. No. Okay. As I've said before, it's been a time. So I read the first King of Shannara by Terry Brooks. This is a prequel, as it says, to the original trilogy, but it was written, because I'm reading them in publication order, so it was written after Talismans of Shannara. And this is essentially about what happened and how the sword of Shannara got made, and how Dural, I believe, is how he gets the sword and how he does what he defeats the Dark Lord and all that stuff. But it's also about Bremen and some other druids that he meets and that accompany him on this trip. There's an elven druid who goes to the elves, a dwarven druid who goes to the dwarves, and a female, like, apprentice-y type druid who comes with them and has her own issues. And you meet how Bremen gets Alanon as his son, and just all of that stuff. It just enhances what Terry Brooks already wrote in his other books. So I liked it. I enjoyed it. Dural's future wife is really awesome in this. I don't know why I'm like tensing my hands out. I really liked the dwarf. I really like the dwarf characters. I don't know if I've mentioned this, but in this, they're dwarves because whatever happened, and these versions of dwarves went underground, and now that they're out, they basically don't want to go underground anymore, and they have like generational claustrophobia, which is really cool. The elves are still elvish though, so, you know, you can't fault them for that. There was a sad part, because Bremen goes to tell the druids that have shunned him that, you know, Brona is here, he's coming back, or whatever, and they're like, nah, dude, you're lying. You're just some crazy old schmuck. And then, you know, it doesn't work out for them in the end, so, yes. I would say, like, I didn't read this before, but you could. So, you can essentially read it, as long as you read the trilogy in order, you can read this whole arching, whatever, Shannara thing in any order you want. And then I read Clytemnestra. This was really, really good. It's essentially, it starts with Clytemnestra as a child with Helen, and then Agamemnon, and then what he does to Iphigenia, and then her revenge on that. It was so good. I like this Clytemnestra I think you got to see more of her. Well, because the other one I read was called Electra, so it was about Electra, Clytemnestra, and the famous one. Who I can't remember. Oh, for Christ's sake. Cassandra. But this one's just about Clytemnestra. Helen is even different in this one. It's like she chooses everything that happens to her. And then it actually added to the Clytemnestra myth for me. In this, she is previously married and had a baby. And Agamemnon does kill her husband and her baby. So there is that. Menelaus isn't very nice. I think he beats Helen. Or he's abusive to her in some type of way. And then, of course, Iphigenia dies. And all that other stuff happens. Odysseus doesn't come across very well in this either. I had forgotten that he is one of the main reasons Clytemnestra and Iphigenia even come to where they sacrifice her for the wind. I forgot he had a big role in that. Because usually Odysseus, well, in another one I'm reading, he doesn't come across very well, but it's from the Trojan perspective. So none of the Greeks would obviously come across well. But this is from Clytemnestra's perspective, so obviously, it's a biased perspective, even though it is a new perspective for us to be reading. I do understand that. And Odysseus isn't great either. I mean, he loved Penelope, and you see that hook up in this. But, in his book, he does cheat on her, essentially. But that's just Athens and men for you. This is getting off topic. This was a very great book. I'd recommend it. Even if you don't like Greek myth retellings, I still think you should read this. It's really great. She also is a hunter in this, because her mother, Leda, was a hunter, which I don't know if that was in the myth or not. But yes, I just like this Clytemnestra a lot. And I'd like to read more from the author. Next, I read Hero the Ninth. This is the sequel to Gideon the Ninth, and it is written mostly in the second person. You, all that stuff. There is, of course, it's horror-y because they're necromancers. I wouldn't say it's too horror-y because I wasn't creeped out by it. But this picks up right after Gideon the Ninth. And there's a timeline in this. So yeah, there's some blood, bones, skeletons, not a lot of guts, but stuff like that. Yeah. And somebody said on the Locked Tomb, that's what the series is called, Reddit, that this gaslights you for most of the book, and yes, it does. You will be confused, and that is the point of the book, because of reasons. And there are lots of revelations as the book goes on. You learn more about the lectors. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. And about the emperor and all of that stuff. And I cannot wait to read Nona just to figure out what happens. I don't want to say too much because I think this is something you should experience upon your own, much like Gideon. I read Ocean's Echo, which is in the same universe as Winter's Orbit, but it's in a different part of the galaxy. What are those things? The Adjudicator, I think they're called, is there, and the things that they like to control is in it. But this is about Tennel and the Lieutenant Surratt, who Tennel is a telepath, and he gets caught by the military and is essentially forced into this bond with Surratt, who is and Surratt is can control telepaths, but Tennel is like a really strong telepath, so they need somebody who's really strong to control him. But it doesn't quite work out the way everybody wants, so there's almost like a pretend relationship, and it's not enemies to lovers because they become friends pretty quickly, so it's like friends to lovers. And there's of course political stuff and space stuff, and it just is really fun and great and a quick read. Yeah, I liked it, and I think if you like queer space stories, this will work out for you. And finally, I read Voyage of the Damned. This is a fantasy murder mystery. It's queer. Let's see, there is character death. There is a child in it, but there are younger people in it, but there's like a child who's only like 5 or 6. She does not die, but she does get injured. So yeah, there's character death. This is adult, I would say, just because of the character death. There's lots of blood and sort of violent deaths. Not like Gideon or Harrow violent, but still pretty violent. And this is about our main character, Ganymedes Passerio, who comes from the Fish Kingdom. Where's my map? It's a great map. And right down here. The Fish Kingdom, of course, it's, as you go on, you find out that all these bottom ones, fish, ermine, grasshopper, maybe even bear, are, and I think maybe butterfly, I'm not 100% sure, but basically these bottom ones are considered useless and weak to the rest of the empire, even though that's basically where they get their food from. The only one at the bottom not considered is ox, because they are strong and they use this bandage to keep out a invading force. But the bandage is growing weak, and the dragon at the top, Emperor, is the one who controls the bandage. And they have, let me find it. So they have the each province has a blessed, and they're essentially like the next in line to the seat of whatever province they're in. And unfortunately for Ganymedes, he does not have a blessing, and he's been faking it basically. So, and they don't really talk, and it has worked for him so far because none of the other blessed it's like taboo to tell another what their blessing is, so he's able to fake it. But all of the heirs are on this voyage to a little island where they sort of like proclaim their blessing and say, we're gonna help the emperor, yada yada yada. And so he tries to get kicked off. It doesn't quite work out because people start dropping like flies. And Gan it's up to him basically to figure out what's going on. I really liked it. I thought Gan was funny. He was pretty disparaging, but to himself. But I always got the feeling, and probably because you're supposed to, because he's the main character, that he would figure out what was happening. And I liked Grasshopper. That's the young girl. They're really mean to her. She's only like 5 or 6, and everybody else is like really mean to her. And Gan is the only one who's like, she's a child, leave her the fuck alone. And she's really brave. For a 6-year-old, and what's happening on this ship, she's really brave. There is some romance between some of our characters, male and female. I didn't see the ending coming, but I thought it was pretty cool. And I think if you reread it, you would be able to pick it. Obviously, you would know what the ending is, but you would be able to see like the little hints and clues along the way. Yes, I just liked it. Like I said, it was funny at times, it was sad at times. I was almost always terrified that our little grasshopper something was gonna happen to her. And Gan, even though he's like got no training, he doesn't have a blessing, he's like determined to protect this little girl, and he's like determined to solve these murders because he's probably next. And he doesn't want anything to happen to him or Grasshopper or the friends he eventually makes along the way. So, yes. I just thought it was a good book. And I know some people, I did read some reviews, some people didn't like that. Sometimes it seemed like the answer was just handed to Gan. But I didn't mind that too much because, he doesn't think much of himself, and sometimes when you don't think a lot of yourself, you don't think you can do it, so sometimes people help you. I don't know if that made any sense, but I liked it. I didn't mind that. But, yeah, those were the books I read. They were a lot of fun. I had a great reading month, and I'm very happy with what happened. So thank you very much for watching. This is probably maybe the last time we'll say it. I don't know. I have met 90 subscribers, so if you could like and sub to get me to 100, that would be fantastic. I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.